Today we're gonna have a little talk, a little discussion. Now, if you've been keeping up, if you've been watching, as many people have been doing, we've been looking at the state of video games. Now, chat, today I like to talk about the state of video gaming and maybe the state of entertainment in general, but video games most importantly. Now, chat, it's not looking good. It hasn't been looking good. For the past couple years, it hasn't been looking good. Now, a lot of people like to point the blame when it comes to video games. Likes to point at things like maybe it was Cyberpunk that killed video games. Maybe they like to point the blame at Fortnite. Maybe they even like to point the game at games like Fallout and Among Us. These game titles, these unknown indie game titles, or maybe games like Pal World. Maybe it was these small time creators that really destroyed gaming, that really saturated that really just completely destroyed what video games once was. The great empire video games once was. Now, chat, like many serial killers, I think the problem actually starts at childhood. Now let's take a look back, man. Let's actually take a look back at the history of video games and at a point where I deem it to be the actual pinnacle point, the actual ground zero on when games died. Mobile games. Now a lot of people, I know, a lot of people don't even consider mobile gamers real gamers, and they're not. They're really not. But mobile games back in the day, Jetpack Joyride, let me put some respect on their name. Flappy Bird, Plants vs. Zombies. Man, come on. We got Angry Birds, like, bro, there is a litany. Mobile games may not have been considered real games, but they were considered America's pastime. They were really considered America's pastime, a real staple in the gaming community. When you didn't have your console, when you didn't have your computer, you had mobile games. You had your phone. You could have Jetpack Joyride. You could have Angry Birds. You can have these games, these staples, these bangers that would come in during great times of boredom and much needed procrastination. But now, from there, we have this oversaturation, these pump and dumps, these Bitcoin ass scheme games, where the games nowadays, unlike back then, where the games sold based on word of mouth, where they sold based on just the core of what the game was, 90% of the time, the only time you got the game was because your friends had it. And if you didn't get it because your friends had it, because you heard that the game was good, or it looked like an interesting title, and you could tell at least some level of effort was put into it. You know what I'm saying? But now, it's pumping them. It's all schemes. It's all hype. It's all just fog and mirrors. It's nothing. The games have no substance. Video gaming today is dead, man. And I'm telling you right now, if you look back at mobile games and you look at the deterioration of mobile games, we did not see the signs. We did not take those seriously. We did not consider, like I said before, mobile gamers real gamers. So when we saw that mobile game empire, when we saw Happy Bird, when we saw Angry Birds, when we saw Plants vs. Zombies get trashed, get destroyed, get all these great mobile games get pushed under the rug of a sea of filth, sea of just paywalls, transactions, pay to win. Pay to win was a debut mobile game problem. If y'all remember, pay to win was a debut mobile game problem. You had games that were almost impossible to get through without paying. And I say the peak of when mobile gaming was Clash of Clans. Now, me personally, I did not play this, but this is where it set the downfall of mobile games. Clash of Clans. Because most people after Clash of Clans had to pay for Clash of Clans really set a precedent that a game as popular as this can make so much money just as transactions, as make it go a little quicker, make the time go a little slow, make the pace of the game progress in a reasonable speed. In this alone, this model alone, where time was equivalent to money, where you could progress, you could be way farther in the game than any pro, that any body could possibly be, just by paying a few extra dollars, by getting some elixir, by doing these little chores here and there, just to swipe the credit card and have you be at level 37 by the end of the week, is kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy. And when we saw this, we took it at face value. We only saw it as a last resort, as something to do when when our patience ran dry. But as time progressed, our attention span became lower and lower. And then we kept paying more and more. You know what I'm saying? And that's when the mobile games really fell, when it became all just, you either gonna wait 5 days for you to get for your level 1 base to get to level 2, or you gonna pay $40. Where they were holding us, they were basically holding the game's progression, bribing us, holding us at gunpoint, telling us that either the only way for you to progress the game without taking years off your life is for you to pay money. They're holding our time for ransom, and it's kind of crazy. And now we're seeing this. We didn't believe, we said mobile gamers aren't real gamers. That's a pastime. That's something you do when you got nothing else to do, when you don't have any other options. Now look at our options. You know what I'm saying? Look at the state of games now. We had Red Dead, banger. Red Dead 2, banger. Fortnite, the first 3-4 seasons, banger. But now we getting into all these different pump and dumps. And you can actually see it with Fortnite. But Fortnite wasn't the game to set off this avalanche of trash that we see now. Fortnite wasn't the game where we see the avalanche of trash before actually the pandemic. I would like to cite a game. Fallout 76. Chat. Now, if you remember Fallout 76, this game was supposed to be the game. When people talked about this game, it was supposed to be the game. People were supposed to come out in droves, ready to play this game. It was going to combine all the things you like about Fallout in an online setting. This is where the politician promise came in to games, where they would promise you things and then fall flat on the delivery. And this has been a trend since then. Since mobile games holding your time hostage, to now games don't even focus on actually making the game good. They just focus on marketing. Any money, any time required to actually developing the game, to make it playable, to make it so people would actually want to play the game, is now developed towards marketing. It's Sharknado. All of this is Sharknado. All of their money is for marketing purposes only. They sell you the idea of the game, and then when you actually see it, it's an empty box. They sold you they told you what could be in the box. It was a Schrodinger game. It was the game's alive when it's inside the box, but when you open it, it's dead. You know what I'm saying? When you open it, it's dead. When you take the game and plug it in, all of a sudden it's not working anymore. But when I was looking at the trailers, I seen everything. I'm seeing it go in slow motion, fast pace, going all over. And this is the state of games, man. Games either have little in the way of content or just forgo content and just focus on marketing. And the games that are succeeding are small indie titles. Games that have no business, if I'm going to be honest, doing as good as they're doing. And it's because these big companies figure if I can pump out 20 games, 40 games, 100 games, sell them at $70, and one of them is mediocre, I can make my money back. It's not what we've seen, what we have when we were children. Where titles weren't focused on pumping out a bunch of different games. Where titles weren't focused on trying to get damn Smeagol a game. When titles weren't focused on getting damn a random ass pop culture creature features a game. Titles were focused on not only making a game, but making a series, developing a story. These games had a story. Now, whether you followed it or not, that was a choice you had to make. But the games were made with an actual purpose in mind. It's like, I want you to have fun, but I also want you to develop a connection. I also want you to it's like I want you to try to guess what happens next. I want you to get frustrated. I want you to feel satisfaction solving the puzzle. I want your brain to work. I want you to grind to develop. You know what I'm saying? So when you're at your pinnacle, when you're at peak civilization, you could feel a sense of pride, a sense of success, a sense of smarts. You have outwitted everyone else. You have maneuvered around the trials and tribulations. Now these games are selling ideas. They're selling. It's like Cinderella's shoe. You know, they put the glass shoe on you, but they say at 12 o'clock when the game's time to release, it turns right back into a pumpkin. You're goofy. It was never a glass shoe. That shit was not a glass shoe. That shit was a damn, goofy ass beat up old Skechers. You know what I'm saying? That shit was nothing. Man, bro. Bruh. But it's so bad, bro. I don't know if the state of games is getting any better. I don't know if the state of games will get any better. I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people are still hyped. A lot of people are still hoping. A lot of people are still banking on next year's release of GTA 6. I'm gonna say this right now. Don't get your hopes up. I'm gonna say this right now. Don't get your hopes up. Like I said, the fall of mobile games was a direct link to the fall of console and PC games, bro. It took a while, but we couldn't learn from the history. We didn't see the correlation between then and now. And now look where we're at. We're basically at the same level of mobile games. Mobile games and games at this state right now, you can't tell me the difference between Shadow Legends and damn Cyberpunk 2077. You can't tell me the difference. Either they're holding your money at ransom, FIFA got you in a damn addictive cycle where if you want the best characters, you're gonna have to gamble. Or they got you just paying for hopes and dreams. They got you paying for an idea, but not the actual game. So, I don't know what's gonna happen to games. Hopefully these indie developers, give these actual big corporations a wake-up call, man. But I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. I don't think they actually care. And the worst part is they don't have to. They seriously don't have to. Because as long as they keep selling you that dream of this game could be something of quality, of if you're the first one to get it, you have a head start on everyone else, as opposed to them actually developing a game to where people actually want to play no matter what stage in the game they're at, or what stage they're going to compete at, or or trying to get the next whatever. They could just keep selling dreams and people are going to keep buying them. And then they're going to complain about why this game is trash, why this game is not what it's supposed to be, why the trailer was misleading, it's been misleading. Fallout 76, Cyberpunk 2077. Damn, we came out with a whole litany of games this coming year, and before and after the pandemic, that really showed the quality of games just completely degrading. That it's not about what the game is, it's about what you say it is, bruh. And that's all I gotta say. I rest my case, bruh. I rest my case. Man, like, follow, subscribe, you know the deal, man. I had to get that shit off my chest, bruh.